we have a folder called SDA, and we have already downloaded DNAC software 114 right here, about 14 gig, and that's going to be the image that we use to install this thing. All right, so if the DNAC already comes with the version you want, although not sure how you can tell, as it doesn't really show anywhere other than on the hardware order you might have. But if that's the case, then you can skip the ISO boot and then go straight to the configuration wizard. But just because we want to do a fresh install on the latest version here, and also the version of DNAC has been released pretty aggressively, so the chances are by the time you watch this video, it'll be a different version altogether. And also the chances are it will be a different version from the hardware you receive as well. In which case, then, like I said, download the ISO and then mount it as a virtual device. Okay, you do map to the DVD, point to the ISO, then it is best for you to do this from a machine that's local to the server, so that way everything is being transferred on the high-speed LAN, as opposed to doing it over across the internet, VPN, or on the WAN. Let's go find that file right here, 114, map drive, and then we can go ahead and power on the system. Give it some time to come up. Then what we're going to do is to wait for the boot option, and then we're going to get into boot option by hitting F6, I believe, and that would take us to selecting the source to boot from, which will be our virtual DVD. Right here, get ready, and hit F6. Then it will show entering boot selection menu. All right, then you go down the list until you select Cisco VKVM mapped VDVD. Hit enter, and that's going to make the server boot from the ISO we mounted. Right, we want the first option, the installer. Hit enter, and now the server is going to start prepping for installation. I want to make sure that it starts, because I know this process is going to take a few minutes. Once we get that ball rolling, then I'll do a quick pause in the video until we hit the start of the wizard. There you go. Starting. So let me go ahead and maximize this so you can see a bigger screen. I'm going to let this run until we hit the wizard, so let me go ahead and pause the video. Alright, so once you get to the start of the configuration wizard, you have two options: to start a new DNAC cluster or to join an existing cluster. Obviously, this is our first DNAC server. We're going to select Start a DNAC cluster. The next page asks you to configure IP address to the network adapter, referencing here as number 1, but you can see by the name, ENP10S0. Right, if you refer back to the diagram that I had in the last video, each of the interfaces at the back of the server are named differently. This one, if you look at the back of the server, is actually the left-hand port. Right, out of the two 10 gig ports that you have, this one is on the left-hand side. Cisco, per the document, suggests that you use this port for cluster link, but what I have found is that it doesn't really matter. Since it is the first and mandatory interface, as you can see, it doesn't say optional here, I am actually going to use this one for our data. In fact, I'm going to combine the data in the cluster. Although in production, you probably don't want to do that. You want to keep the data in the cluster separate. But here, since we're just dealing with the lab, this is going to be our data and the cluster link.